Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between Lin versus Ling, or 120-120. This game taking place here on Echo Isle. On the top right hand side of the map we have Lin spawning as the blue orc. Meanwhile, on the top left hand side of the map we have Ling, or 120, spawning as the purple undead. Should be a great matchup here as I speed things up 4 times speed until we see the heroes, and well, the heroes make their way out onto the map. It looks as though it will be grunts and perhaps a blue. Nope, it is going to be a farseer with headhunters fighting along or against a death knight with some ghouls and eventually crypt fiends. No big surprises coming out here from both sides as the acolyte makes sure to do a little bit of scouting, and then now perhaps just stay back and see what the hero is going to be. Farseer attempting to clear out this Ogre Warrior creep camp as the game is underway. Death Knight on the other side here, using that Rod of Necromancy, spawning up a couple of easy minions and then trying to make short work of the remainder of this creep camp. Time is of the essence in a situation like this. You're always just trying to get a little bit of an advantage over your opponent, and well, translate that advantage into a larger one and a larger one. 21/21 supply as the tech to tier 2 not yet started. Instead, we are training up more headhunters. Thank you for the bits. Caster back in action. I was wondering if I should go ahead and live stream today, and I said, you know what, I haven't been able to live stream, been doing some offline recording, and thought I could use a little bit of interaction. So thank you very much for those bits. Every bit does definitely help. I think technically on my taxes I earned $5 last year for casting, but if I was doing everything for the money, well, not everything is done for money, even though you do have to do things to take care of your family at the same time. Coming back around though, we are looking at skeletal minions clearing up this green creep camp here. Death Knight gets up to level 2 easily, still has another Rod of Necromancy charge waiting to go as the Farseer attempts to clear out the 533 creep camp on the bottom side. So far, both sides playing a game versus the computer, pretty much. Just clearing out the creeps, clearing out some basic things, teching to tier 2, and I'm really interested to see how this game is going to transition once tier 2 is completed. Lin going for an expansion attempt here already, and something a little bit dangerous, and now going to wander out across the map with that Farseer. Gloves of haste and claws of attack can rack up a little bit of damage here. Meanwhile, the Death Knight's army is still rather small here, only having 1 Crypt Fiend. And where exactly is this Farseer going? Farseer looking to put in pressure as the Spirit Wolves and also the Grunts and Headhunter clearing out some more creep camps here down to the south. Alright, Farseer could get up to level 3 here, and there it is, level 3 on Lin's Farseer, and he wants to put pressure with those Spirit Wolves with those Spirit Wolves or the Dire Wolves and getting in some critical strike. Tech to tier 2 not yet done, as the Wolves are going to be teleported on right inside there and now try and do a little bit of an engagement, perhaps getting some damage onto those Acolytes. Farseer does have Gloves of Haste, going to be able to rack up a little bit more damage, and while disrupting quite a bit of mining. Meanwhile, Acolytes are purposely trying to retreat back here. Ghouls are having a low point, as well as the Death Knight. Oh, beautiful Death Coil timing, saving what would have for certain been a dead Ghoul. That Ghoul now able to retreat all the way back. Staff of Teleportation. Farseer down to 198 hit points. Teleports back home, and that Voodoo Lounge is still not done. Level 3 on both heroes. Very, very clutch timing there. Wolves are trying to finish off some Acolytes. It looks like as though one Acolyte will end up getting taken down. Another Acolyte will be trained up to try and replace. Meanwhile, the expansion down to the south by Lin is currently, well, looks like it may be completed. We are looking at a Dark Ranger, however, as that second hero, and that should, well, be able to train up and get a little bit more units out here onto the battlefield, making that transition to tier 2 much more powerful, not having to wait for the Obsidian statue, the training of the Lich, in order to feel the direct benefits of that tier 2. Meanwhile, however, off on the other side, Lin opted to try and put down pressure even before he had gotten a healing salve on that Farseer. That Farseer looks a little bit worse for wear, taking a little bit of cold damage here. Meanwhile, the Death Knight going to try and retreat all the way back. Dark Ranger getting in a very large army of skeletal minions here and starting to reach a decent size. You can see how many skeletal minions are out here on the battlefield. Does he have a no Rod of Necromancy, as the Farseer now continuing to put in pressure. All right, that Tomb of Relics does have a little bit of a bad day. There's a Death Coil onto the Farseer. Farseer could have a very bad day indeed, as the Halls of the Dead should really be going after that Farseer there, instead able to back away. Tech to tier 2 now begun as the Scroll of Town Portal whisks everyone away. All right, Dark Ranger making short work out of all of the skeleton, or all of these peons that were trying to do some mining down to the south. The expansion, well, having a bad day indeed. Looks like it could get taken down at the hands of all of these lesser dark minions, but a Tauren Chieftain now out here onto the battlefield. All right, how much damage can get racked up here? That is the big question, trying to finish off some of these units here. Dark Ranger trying to take things down as we look at the Death Knight now coming back around the other way. Death Coil onto the Farseer. Farseer now currently low on hit points once again as a Stomp comes down onto some of those Crypt Fiends. All right, where is that Dark Ranger? Dark Ranger gets up to level 2 right there, looking to add in a little bit more damage as we see a Staff of Teleportation, and the Farseer gets taken down. Staff of Teleportation does not give immunity, and well, it was quickly taken down there with a Death Coil and some auto attacks. All right, more damage racking back on through. Are we going to get another unit here? Death Knight, however, needs to save that Dark Ranger if it's not careful, as the Death Knight now tries to retreat back using that Unholy Aura's faster movement speed. Ensnare, not yet done. Tauren Chieftain trying to land down a little bit of additional damage, as we're going to be looking at, well, there goes one Headhunter getting taken down there. Dark Ranger still able to outrun that Tauren Chieftain. No endurance, or a Death Knight now still trying to make its way back over, as the Farseer, well, as the Farseer is still getting resurrected. Tauren Chieftain trying to get closer as the Raider wants to throw down an ensnare, but that not yet completed either. It looks as though we are going to be getting in a little bit more damage here. We should be able to get in an ensnare. One more final black arrow and takes down that Headhunter there, but now we see the ensnare on the Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger is completely surrounded and in a lot of trouble there. Gonna get taken down pretty easily, as the Death Knight, well, looks to clean up down to the south. Losing that Dark Ranger at level 2. A big setback indeed, as the Tauren Chieftain perhaps going to try and put in some pressure off on the top left-hand side of the map. Tech to tier 3 nearly done. Dark Ranger getting resurrected, but that will delay the Lich even further. Meanwhile, we can see the Crypt Fiends in the back trying to heal up as well. We are getting into a Tomb of Relics, as the Slaughterhouse is training up one Obsidian statue. Going to try and train up and get some more in there, as well as we are now at Black Citadel, selling a couple of quick items. Death Knight now trying to finish things off. The Obsidian statue should be popping on out here in just a moment. The Cold Tower is causing a bit of problems, as the Death Knight no longer has a potion of healing to buy from that Tomb of Relics. Obsidian statue now out here onto the battlefield. That is going to, well, add a lot of staying power for this army, as Staff of Teleportation coming inbound here. Death Coil onto the Crypt Fiend. Crypt Fiend will be saved. Farseer shows up to the party saying, what did I miss? Trying to summon in some Spirit Wolves and get in even more damage as well. Tauren Chieftain still wandering around here, as we are seeing some big critical strikes from those Spirit Wolves to take down one Crypt Fiend. Tauren Chieftain now has endurance, well, should get endurance aura for faster movement speed across the board, but still keeping a little bit of distance here. Not quite sure why, as the Death Knight, well, has to play a little bit of a dangerous game, perhaps looking to back up. Dark Ranger now out onto the battlefield. Lich now going to get trained up as well. We need to see an Orb of Corruption be saved up too, as Lin is sitting on 1,000 gold, while 120 is sitting on a much smaller army with not that much gold in the bank. The expansion of Lin is operational and should be able to give a big economic advantage indeed. All right, Lin is in the driver's seat of this game, able to do a lot of creeping, able to have a larger army holding on to that expansion. The question will be whether or not the Dark Ranger and the Death Knight will be able to make some sort of stop play against the Farseer. Once the Farseer gets to level 4, level 2 Chain Lightning, and most likely level 2 Stomp will be on the table, making things just that much easier for Lin. Lin needs to get this level up in order to finalize everything else. Meanwhile, the Lich is now out on the battlefield and will be picking up an Orb of Corruption. So that is the sudden power spike that the Undead army needs. Wind Riders joining in on the battlefield as well. Tauren Chieftain will be getting up to level 3 here. Farseer still sitting at level 3 as well, as we are looking at a bunch of heals going around. All right. More Kodo Beasts getting added. We are not training, well, we are still training up Headhunters, no Berserkers, as we are at Tier 2. And what is going to be coming up next? That is a little bit of a strange play to see still Headhunters after all this time. And now the Frost Nova is just going to cause so many problems for these Headhunters who only have 375 hit points. All right, there goes one Raider already, a little bit of damage. However, Obsidian Statue could end up getting taken down pretty quickly. There's a Frost Nova going down, a big stomp as well. Potion of Invulnerability. Tauren Chieftain looking pretty good. Scroll of Healing trying to save there as the Dark Ranger gets up to level 3. Tauren Chieftain continuing to make his way forward. I thought perhaps could have tried to land some sort of stomp here, but no, doesn't get a stomp here as the Wind Riders are throwing in a bunch of damage as well. Going after the Destroyer. The Destroyer very low on, or no, not low on hit points. That was the Skeletal Minion. Tauren Chieftain having a little bit of a danger problem here. Has a Potion of Healing, also has a Scroll of Healing as well, as the units are trying to retreat back. 47 supply compared to 64, but the Undead Army still represents a large amount of damage as the Tauren Chieftain may want to push back in the other way. All right, there goes some other additional units. Tauren Chieftain continuing to push. Farseer gets up to level 4, level 2 Chain Lightning, but not having the necessary mana here as a Potion of Healing used right there to try to stave off a little bit of damage. Still has a Scroll of Healing as we see a beautiful scroll or Death Coil to save another low hit point Crypt Fiend. All right, units are just not falling on the undead side, even though there is a much larger army as the units are trying to push across here. No ensnares going down either to try and force an engagement. A little bit of an odd situation as the Tauren Chieftain now tries to come in from the side here. All right, there goes an ensnare. Ensnare now taking down that Destroyer. Destroyer getting absolutely destroyed there as the Wind Riders throwing those spears pretty consistently. Additional entangles going down. Another Raider going to get taken down, but a Crypt Fiend traded in that situation there as we're still looking at more damage getting racked up. More Raiders now trying to make their way over. Tauren Chieftain having a little bit of a difficult time. Perhaps could try and throw down a stomp. No, doesn't have the mana. Has a Scroll of Healing. Are we going to see a Death Coil saving there? No, we are not. Death Coil taking down a Raider once more as there is just blast after blast. This tug of war push in the center going back and forth as the Tauren Chieftain has a Scroll of Town Portal just to escape just in case things get a little bit dicey. Tauren Chieftain now trying to make it another play here. Scroll of Healing and not being used. Another Headhunter getting taken down there as the units try to retreat back. Kodo Beast, nothing in the belly there at all. Tauren Chieftain now trying to make its way back over and still somehow 120 able to force Lin to use a Scroll of Town Portal to retreat, even though he had the smaller army throughout that fight. Expansion down to the south, no fortified armor. You better believe the Crypt Fiends and a Destroyer or two could easily take down that Orc Burrow and then finish up the remainder of this expansion here. Meanwhile, more Raiders are getting trained up as the Tauren Chieftain looking to heal steadily but slowly. Up to 925 hit points, needs another healing salve charge, gets up to level 4, level 2 endurance, or are going to make a big deal here as we see a Talisman of Evasion on the Tauren Chieftain, and now in comes the Undead Army onto the expansion. Orc Burrow trying to jump on inside, however, without fortified armor, you better believe the Crypt Fiends and the Death Knight will be able to take that down so quickly. Units are trying to make their way back around, and we are looking at this Orc Burrow going to get taken down so fast, but a Crypt Fiend has traded in that exchange. Death Knight now continuing to try and push across here. We're looking at the Raiders, Kodo Beast, perhaps trying to get in some damage as we see a couple of easy, quick kills there. So many Wand of Illusion units. Not quite sure which one to try and take down as the Great Hall could end up getting taken down here in just a moment. All right, the range of the Undead Army perhaps a bit better here as not many of the Raiders can actually land the attacks there. The constant damage of the Frost Nova Death Coil causing problems as a Crypt Fiend going to finish off that Raider there. Tauren Chieftain continuing to battle it back and forth. Peons are trying to fight alongside all of this giant mess as all of the Death Knight illusions are now finally gone. A big stomp now going down. Kodo Beast trying to eat some of those units as well, but that's going to quickly get poked and focused down. Level 2 Chain Lightning bouncing around as a Kodo Beast gets taken down as well. Tauren Chieftain now silenced, continuing to try and fight back here. 47 supply compared to 56. Lin continuing the fight once more. He's going to be able to land on a stomp, yes, but only hitting one Crypt Fiend as that Crypt Fiend gets taken down as that but the Death Coil was just a split second late. Level 5 now on the Farseer. Level 3 Spirit Wolves may be exactly what the Doctor ordered, but no, going for level 3 Chain Lightning instead as the Wind Rider getting taken down. All right, a massive battle across multiple sides here. Dark Ranger trying to finish things up. Multiple heroes here. Lich with still plenty of hit points, still unable, not getting bursting down as the Dark Ranger now gets up to level 4. All right, Obsidian Statue finally gets taken down here. Tauren Chieftain now separated every which way. Death Coil coming across for the save as the Dark Ranger finally gets out of this fight here. Are we going to see any death? Yes, we do. A Chain Lightning departing gift onto the Death Knight. I had wondered if the level 3 Chain Lightning was the correct ability to go for. And that Chain Lightning, that little bit of extra damage, finishing off that Death Knight right before the teleport. Death Knight may need to be resurrected at the tavern at this point in the stage in the game. Incredibly important. Level up, yep, leveling up Chain Lightning really pays off right there. Death Knight resurrected at the tavern. It was a level 4 Death Knight, not level 5. That level 4 Death Knight, well, that each level costs so much more to resurrect, especially at the tavern, as Lynn now setting up or rebuilding this great hall, repairing it, and we still don't see any fortified upgrades. We are at Fortress now, and we are now getting up Berserkers as the Berserker upgrade has completed. 475 hit points over the 375 variety, more than a 25% increase in hit points. Crypt now absorbing a little bit of damage here. It does not nope, I can't quite tell if there is pillage. Meanwhile, Tauren Chieftain comes in with a giant stomp, taking down or stunning down many of those Crypt Fiends. Ghouls now trying to come across here. Farseer still having a potion of mana, can throw down another Chain Lightning if necessary, trying to rack up a bit of damage. Tauren Chieftain now sitting at level 4, trying to get to level 5. Will it be able to get to level 5 and then get that level 3 stomp? That is the question. Level 3 stomp will change things drastically as the Crypt Fiend does get taken down, giving level 5 to the Tauren Chieftain and enough mana for a follow-up stomp if he wants. All right, Kotobe's looking to retreat back, but not going to be able to do exactly that as the stomp now comes down here. Crypt Fiend is going to get taken down. Any unit's going to get taken down here as the Death Knight is currently low on mana. The units are still trying to back around. There goes a Chain Lightning finishing off a Crypt Fiend. 39 supply compared to 51. The undead hero is still looking very strong, and a couple of destroyers in the air chasing after all of these remaining units. 34 supply army compared to 120's 37. The army of the undead actually larger at this point in the stage in the game, as we should be looking at more damage getting absorbed and perhaps taken down on these units again. Death Knight should be able to finish off one Berserker easily, another Berserker right behind. That could cause problems as the Shadow Hunter now out in the battlefield, bringing forth Healing Wave as well. Tauren Chieftain doesn't have enough mana for a stomp as of yet. One Berserker trying to hide in the forest, trying to throw those spears as damage is still racking around there. More Dark Minions coming back out onto the battlefield. Those are level 2 Black Arrows. Very powerful indeed, as we're seeing Chain Lightning trying to finish off some of those trailing units again. 45 supply compared to 48. Lin is now behind on supply, even though he's had the economic advantage and supply advantage for so long throughout this match. Tauren Chieftain now trying to make its way back off to the north here, trying to hide, but that is going to open up the expansion. And, well, the expansion is going to get taken down. Death Knight is going to get up to or stay at level 5 here. Lich is still at level 3. Dark Ranger is at level 4. A couple of, well, lesser or dark minions are going to be coming out onto the battlefield here, and that is going to create a nasty, nasty front line indeed. You can see those skeletal minions now just pushing after all of these units. 45 supply compared to 48. Chain Lightning bouncing around, finishing off some of those skeletal minions, trying to perhaps get a little bit more experience. Tauren Chieftain still sitting at level 5 here. Shadow Hunter sitting at 1.5. Needs to get a little bit more experience. And Crypt Fiend does get taken down, but still no level up here. 45 compared to 43. A very, very close matchup indeed. The Obsidian statues, so many of them, just providing support for the heroes. The heroes can pretty much be the army now, now that they are just so powerful. Destroyer getting a big 600 hit point heal in the air as the Death Knight continuing the fight. Another silence goes down onto the Tauren Chieftain. However, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability shakes that off quickly, and now Chain Lightning finishes off there. Level 2 on the Shadow Hunter. Crypt Fiend slowly being digested. Units are still trying to back away, and both sides constantly losing units left and right. Lin perhaps going to try and bring forth, yes, level 3 Dire Shadow Wolves, and this may be the end here. Lich now back out here onto the battlefield. Is he going to be able to stay alive? Death Knight needs to get off a Death Coil to save that Lich. Tauren Chieftain now going to come back across. We could look at a Stomp. There is the Stomp. Death Knight not going to be able to get a Death Coil off as he is temporarily stunned, and that might be the game. Death Knight continuing to chase after. There goes an ensnare. There goes a stomp, and that is going to be the game with the fall of the Death Knight. The Dark Ranger trying to overcome everything by herself, not going to be able to do it. A great back and forth game between Lin and 120. I thought at some point 120 was actually going to come out on top, as I think the final hero score only swapped at the end when Lin took down 120's Death Knight and Lich twice. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.